G'day parents of Year 10 White Mathematics. I've sent all of you a link to the OneNote content library for the course, and you'll get an email with a bit more in it than this one, but there'll be a link down the bottom which you just need to click, which will open up OneNote. It can be a bit slow, there's a lot of content in there. When it does get up, it'll come up first on this seating plan page, which is probably a little interest to yourself. But what I wanted to refer you first to is the units. The units start at Unit 11. We run Year 9 is Units 1 through 10. So Year 10 starts at Unit 11. Anything that's up here we've already done in class or is the current topic. So at the moment in class we're learning volume, so that's the current topic. I won't generally load up topics until we're ready for them. So if there's something there, if it's the last possible topic, we'll have some stuff that we've covered and some stuff that we haven't, but everything before the last topic will have been covered in class. There's a little section here called C5 quizzes, which comes for first. Basically every time we're in C5, we're going to be doing a little quiz. There's a description there, and then there's the actual quiz there. So if it's the current quiz that I've got out with the students, so they do that quiz in class. The emphasis when they do it in class is on speed, and then it's always set so as to be almost impossible to get done in the time set. I then mark it, give it back to them, and that becomes the homework sheet for the next week. So we've currently done this particular quiz in class. It's been handed back to your students, and they're now working through that to hand back in as a homework task. Then obviously as we get into the actual subjects, I'll go here into volume. It'll often take a little second to open up each one. And if I jump in here into lesson 2, which is the volume of pyramids, this will give you a bit of an idea of how I lay out each lesson in class and on OneNote. So the students all have a theory booklet which mirrors what is here in the lesson tab, and they fill in these details. We discuss how matters are calculated in class. They complete their theory booklets, and that becomes a nice sort of go-to reference point for them. If they miss a class, everything that I've written on the whiteboard, I don't technically tend to use the whiteboard, I use this. And so that way every pen stroke that I put up on the board for a student to see generally ends up here on OneNote, with a couple of rare exceptions. So here we have the lesson that we went through on that particular day. And down the bottom here is the exercises that have been set for the lesson. So this is going to be exercise 1H, and they have to do questions 3A and C, question 4 and question 7E. So if they want to get a bit of homework done, that's generally my expectation, is that they would start that work in class. Some of them will get it finished in class, some won't, and I would like them to have a reasonable attempt at home to get at least a good proportion of the questions done. As well as that, just to make it easier to work on at home and not having to carry the textbooks, the relevant pages of the text are here under the text tab. So it'll take a second here to load up, and you'll see that there's the relevant pages from the textbook, so they can work from home or from anywhere for that matter. Most of the students have ceased bringing their math textbook to class because they know that I do this so that they can look up questions there. If I've helped a student with a question, this particular lesson was one where I was away, so I didn't write all over this particular textbook, but if I've helped a student with a question, usually I'll write on this page near the question so that other students, if they have the same problems, can come along and see what help I've given to someone else, and that might help get them started. Finally, there's the more practice tab. This can vary from having lots of stuff in there to very little stuff. It depends on how difficult the content is and how much extra work or help any of the students have asked, or indeed yourselves as parents. If you think your child is struggling with a concept, feel free to email me and ask me to put some more material in the more practice tab for that lesson, and I'll do so. So this particular one has a Education Perfect task, which is Education Perfect's a great place to go if your child is not understanding the concept. Generally runs a nice little lesson through there. It's usually pretty easy to follow, and the questions that are asked through Education Perfect are what I would usually categorise as being on the easier end of the scale. So for a homework task where there's not as much support available, it's a great place to go to get that bit of help. So that's the general layout there. like I said, if there's something that you think your child needs a bit of extra help with, feel free to email me and I'll throw it in that More Practice tab. That can include worksheets or links to videos or links to online lessons like the Education Perfect lessons. If you have any questions regarding both OneNote or anything else regarding your son or daughter's maths in Year 10, feel free to reply with an email or to give me a call. Cheers.